What's going on again? What's going on again? Holographic principles, holographic knowledge, holographic wisdoms, and holographic understandings. You know what I'm saying? Al Achad, holography, the whole writing of the arts and sciences as one educational discipline. Do not fail to get yourself understanding the principles of one. It's all one. Show you how you bring it all together, tie it all together, man. That's how you need to have it in your life. Don't be fragmented, broken in pieces. Finally, put the puzzle together as a coherent whole. So, how y'all doing today? Wanted to go live and do this review. I know I was doing movies on this channel already, but I got to squeeze shows in here too. So I'm doing film and TV. So all my film and TV reviews are going to be in one playlist on this channel, Holography. So this will be my first show. This isn't the first show I ever did on here on this channel, but had to take some of those videos down. So this is kind of like a upstart of this where, I'm saying, I got to do a TV show. So spoiler alert, you know what I mean? The Boys, the show that's on Amazon Prime. I think that's their best show. I haven't explored to know that if it's true or not, but I know that The Boys is Amazon Prime's best original show. Watch it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will be spoiling it, but it's still something for you to watch. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can go watch it and come look at this review, you know what I'm saying, obviously, or like I said, I just really want to touch on, especially what I'm like in my heart, here in my chest, and also in my gut what this show is really trying to say. Now, off the bat, The Boys is the anti-MCU. So think about all these movies that have been coming out about superheroes, especially the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Your Iron Man, your Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America, Hulk, you know what I'm saying? Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, all that. You know what I'm saying? The MCU. Now imagine the dark side, because you think you've gotten all those movies and even the little shows that they got on Disney Plus. You think any of that stuff is dark? Nah, you need to watch The Boys. Now, The Boys is also kind of like, it's like, for me, it's like a mixture between the MCU and the DCEU, which is the DC extended universe where you have your Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and all that. So for me, it's like a meshing between those two universes. It's its own thing, but it's definitely drawing inspiration and kind of giving you like a realistic take on these heroes. Now, it's not the first show or movie to do this because you have Watchmen, and before I did a review on the HBO Watchmen show, and I compared that to that whole Corona bottle thing that happened in 2020. But this show is where you really kind of see like the nasty, disgusting, dirty like just the real cesspool, septic tank underbelly of the whole superhero thing. It's the anti-MCU. So if you've already saw those movies, the MCU movies, some of y'all seen the Black Panther Wakanda Forever, you already seen that, you know what I'm saying? The Infinity Wars, all that stuff. Even those shows that they had on Netflix, the Marvel Netflix shows with the Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and all that, Punisher, Jessica Jones, all that stuff. What's the Defenders and all that? All that ties into and takes some part, or they make fun of it, or they deconstruct it in this show, The Boys. So The Boys is about, spoiler alert, it's about how corporations control the world. That's probably the key factor in this whole show. It's the key theme, the corporate control over everything. Then the superheroes come in, because it shows you how how like a corporation can introduce things to the public and make it look like it's something else. Like, for example, in the show, A lot of those superheroes or these superhumans are made to believe that they were born that way, but come to find out that it's this corporation that created this drug called compound V, and that's what it's this chemical that they use to, I guess, like activate certain genetic things inside a person's body, and they've been using this for like decades. And we talking like, oh, it even ties in with the Nazi thing. So it's them using this blue stuff to kind of like turn babies and kids into, like, and groom them into these superheroes. So you have the main one, which his name is Homelander. So he's like a mix between he is a mix between Superman and Captain America. So you got your Marvel and your DC mixed in together with this guy. So he's the guy that you see with the cape, and he has like he has the American flag as his cape, and he has the blonde hair. He's the Superman Captain America mix. This nigga is he's for me, he's the center of this show. And what I'm getting from him is that he is the modern day Frankenstein monster. Like if you were to go back in, history and deal with the Frankenstein, Mary Shelley Frankenstein story, and how like the Victor Frankenstein, he's the scientist that, he collects the dead parts from, graveyards or whatever, and he creates the Frankenstein monster, the thing with the bolt in his neck, usually green, flat top head ass neck, and he's just this dumb brute that, he was created from dead parts from, collected from graveyards, and he's brought to life. It's alive. It's alive. That. But now with the boys show, Homelander is that Frankenstein monster. He is that monster in modern times. So you talk about corporate control over everything. They create your superheroes. Not only do they create the superheroes, they create all the propaganda surrounding them, the movies, TV shows, the merchandise, the commercial deals, all that. It's all under corporate control. So the superheroes are more like they're mascots for this corporation, and they go out and, act like they're saving people or saving, feed the children. It's all a sham. It's all a corporate fucking creation. You know what I'm saying? But also in this boys universe, you have a group of ragtag vigilantes. They're called the boys. That's why the show is called the boys. And they make it their business to take down or stop these superheroes or soups from going around causing destruction. So everybody in the superhero group has been devastated or negatively affected by the activities of these soups. So you have Butcher, who's played by Carl Urban. He's the guy with the thick black hair, thick black mustache and goatee, and he's like the leader. So he's the dude where for me, he's like the Punisher. Like, Punisher from Marvel Comics. His job, what he does is, he leads this group of people that basically go around killing soups. He doesn't want to save anybody. He doesn't really want to reason with any of these superheroes. He wants to kill them. He's the Punisher. You know what I'm saying? And then the story also follows Huey, and Huey is a guy who, in the first episode, his girlfriend is killed by A-Train, who's one of the superheroes. But A-Train mistakenly kills his girlfriend because his girlfriend is standing in the street, and A-Train runs into her because he has that flash super speed. He runs into the girlfriend and kills her. You know what I'm saying? But he does it by mistake because he's souped up on these fucking artificial drugs that give him his superpower, his super speed. So Huey is the boyfriend who he experiences that. His girlfriend is killed by a soup, so he wants revenge. So he joins this group of vigilante killers that kind of like, locate these soups and kill them off or destroy them or do something to off them or of some sort of way like that. The show is excellent. It's up there with, I would say, it's up there with Sopranos and Breaking Bad. You gotta watch The Boys, man. Watch The Boys. So at the time of me recording this, they have 3 seasons. So they have 8 episodes per season. So it's 24 seasons out right now as of 2023. Go watch the show, man. Watch it all together. Like I sat here and watched that show within like a week. You know what I'm saying? 24 episodes, like an hour and over an hour each for some of them. Gotta watch this show. It's excellently written. Cinematography is excellent. The themes, the story, all excellent. You gotta watch this show, man. It lets you know how everything that you see in the news is a fabrication. It's a story. It's a spin story for you, the public, watching. It's all propaganda. Because you watch these movies where you're dealing with superheroes, whether it's artificially created, you know what I'm saying, like a Spider-Man, how he got bit by a radioactive spider. Do you have like an Iron Man who's like this billionaire and he creates his armor? Do you have heroes like Scarlet Witch who's like you have the magic or whatever? In the boys universe, all these heroes are created based on using a drug, a corporate drug, and that's how they're created. So when they're created, that doesn't mean that they're heroic. So you're calling these people superheroes, but they're less than heroic. Like some of these motherfuckers kill people, they molest people, they rape. Like it's looking at heroes from a realistic perspective. Like if you had a hero, superhero flying around here or going around here like fighting crime, do you think this motherfucker is moral? Like, do you think they have morals? Do you think they care about you like for real to actually save you? Or are they doing it for cameras? Or are they doing it for their image? It's also for me a a commentary on social media also, because social media is a very key point of this whole show as well. Like how what people go through and what they like, how far they go to, you know, keep their image of themselves as being this heroic good guy when behind the scenes they're nasty, they're disgusting, they're just fucking nauseating people, you know what I'm saying? Just because they have a cape on does not mean that they are heroic in their life. It can be a whole show. And that's also a commentary just on people on social media. Like, you don't know who I am outside of this, and I've said this before. You don't really know what I'm into or what I do or what I gotta. You don't know that about me. So this could be a whole sham. This could be just a one big ass show, but you don't know what happens backstage, and that's what the boys show is really kind of. It digs into that. Like again, you got rapists, you got drug addicts, you know what I'm saying? But they're presented to you as if they're the heroic standard. Like you're supposed to look up to them. They even got kids on this show where they look up to the Homelanders and the A Trains and the Deep and, you know, Queen Maeve, what's her name? Starlight. You know what I'm saying? Black Noir. Like these are people you don't really know outside of their public image. And the show gives you a backstage pass into the, you know what I'm saying, the shit that you don't see on camera. And then how some of that stuff also spills onto camera. You know what I mean? Because again, you think it's all, you know, we're here to save the people. When you watch Avengers, like you think the Avengers is, you know, they're all wholesome and they try to save people from alien threats and threats that happen on the land right here on the earth. But bruh, sis, these are some degenerates. So imagine having a degenerate and you give him superpowers. What you think is going to happen? Like Homelander, for example. This nigga is one big ass bully. He's a bully. He does what he wants because nobody can kill him, nobody can defeat him. He got laser vision. He can cut right through your flesh with his eyes. He can fly. He has superhuman strength, superhuman. I don't know if he got superhuman speed, but he definitely has super senses. Like he can see through walls. He can hear from miles away. It's like, yo, imagine that motherfucker going crazy. Like, imagine Superman, because they've already kind of created like, you know, scenarios where Superman turns evil. They even had the movie, what's the name, Brightburn. Picture that. You know what I'm saying? In a like a public space, because in Brightburn, it's not like a, you know, it's an alien from outer space. Here is just it's a boy who was created in a lab. See, uh Homelander is a guy who he's a test tube baby. He was raised in a laboratory. Like is this scientist that, you know, they were experimenting with him with this compound V drug, and they turned him into this super human. You know what I mean? But he's out of control. Like he's a psychopath. Like he has no regard for human life. He only regards human life if they love him. Like he's addicted to his love because he grew up in a laboratory. Like he didn't grow up with a mother and a father per se, like a family. So throughout his arc throughout the show is him balancing him being a superhuman. Like he thinks he's the best thing. He think he's Jesus or whatever. He think he's Moses. He think he's the top motherfucking of the food chain, but he still has a weakness where he wants to be loved. He wants to be cherished. He wants to be looked at as a god. So any threat to that is a threat to his ego and his self-esteem. So if you threaten that, he'll kill you for that. Like he this nigga's a mass murderer. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to spoil the show. I'm not really kind of yes, I am. I'm going to spoil the show. But anyway, so you have, like I say, you have a group of the boys who are these vigilantes, like these people who, you know, they've been affected and negatively impacted by some sort of superhero event, like maybe a soup killed your mom or your family, or a soup cut your dick, like did something where you were negatively affected by it. So it's just a group of people who decided to get together and say, you know what, we need to stop these artificially created superheroes. We need to stop them. We need to kill them. We need to take them down. So it's led by Butcher. You got Huey, who just joins the group. So we're kind of seeing the world of superheroes through his eyes. And then you got Mother's Milk, or Marvin. He's the black dude played by Laz Alonso. So he's also in the group. Then you got Frenchie, who's in there, and then you know, this girl that they pick up who's also been experimented on, and she becomes this like vicious um you know, she got superhuman strength. She can accelerated healing. She's like a Wolverine, female Wolverine. So she's in the group. So like I said, they plan these um uh coups, or these uh plans, or plan a plan where they can take some of these superheroes down and kill them. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the show is the overall theme or controlling idea of the show is that it's corporate, how corporations control the world. So not the government, a whole one corporation. And we talking about a corporation that is as old as World War One. Because there's, and then it also takes a stab at how those scientists that were, you know, part of the whole Nazi cloning experimental thing, and how they come to America, and you know, the Americans embrace them, and they become part of, you know, American culture. Like they took those scientists over there from Nazi Germany, or that Nazi thing, and then used their, you know, their sciences to kind of clone people or create superheroes or experiment on people. You know what I'm saying? Now that's where it becomes real for me. So even though you can say that, you know, we may not be in a world of, you know, realistically of superheroes, you still have people, these corporations that experiment on people. They don't just experiment on animals, they experiment on whoever they can get their hands on. So for example, if you have a whole prison of prisoners that nobody cares about or nobody can save, you can experiment on them. You can do all types of nasty stuff to them. Like you can chop their hands off and put bird wings on. Like you can do anything you want to them and not even have to face the consequences of what you're doing. So if you're in a laboratory somewhere creating this superhuman, well, what if the superhuman gets out? What if this monstrosity escapes? Let alone you sitting here parading the monstrosity as a hero. What if like it escapes the laboratory and starts, you know, causing mayhem and killing people once it gets loose? So this show deals with all that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's wild. Like you really gotta have like a stomach for a show like this. Like it's a good storyline, but it's brutal. It's vicious. You know what I'm saying? And it also, like I said, it pokes fun at like the MCU and the DCEU, like these franchises of superheroes. But again, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Like it also kind of looks at like you know, how like you have actors that play these heroes that, you know, kids and other people, you know, older people look up to, but again, you don't know who the fuck this person is outside of that show or that movie or that press release you're watching. That could be a rapist. It could be a drug addict. It can be, a racist. Like, you don't know who that is. You know what I'm saying? Because people feed into what they see on TV too much. They feed into what they see on social media too much. Think about your favorite person that you like watching on YouTube or that you follow and you like what they talking about, you like what they saying. That motherfucker could be a completely different person outside of that camera. Me, for example, I don't know if you how much you like watching my you don't know who I am outside of this. That's a scary thing. Now I'm, what I'm saying, like I said, I can sit here and say that, I'm not somebody that, I'm sitting here doing something fake for the camera, what I'm saying, not at all, but you don't know that for sure. And you sitting up here, you could be like really into this person. Like you could be follow your life could be um you can be leading your life as that and using that person as an example. And you don't know what the hell this person is outside of the cameras. Because they can appear heroic on the camera, but they can be like not that in real life. And the show, The Boys, actually deals with that and the consequences, like the repercussions of that. You know what I mean? And I also like how it kind of blends the idea of the politician and the actor, like how an actor can be a politician and how a politician become an actor, and how those worlds tend to blend. Like for example, you're just watching a movie with Iron Man in it. You don't know who this person is outside of that Iron Man movie. So in the Iron Man movie, the Iron Man can be about saving people. Um, you know, they can have a certain politics, a certain thing that they are rooting for, but outside of that, it could be completely different. Like you ever hear these like stories where these politicians get caught with prostitutes or transvestites and all this stuff? Like, they seem like straight heterosexual males on TV, but behind the scenes, they like getting, they say salad tossed. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of looking at this person in the media as like a picture of, macho masculinity, but he like doing fruity stuff, you know what I'm saying, when the cameras is off. But that's your hero or that's your model for masculinity. Like picture like a Denzel Washington, for example. Not saying that I don't know who he is. Who knows? And it's not even for me to cast doubt. It's just saying, like, that Denzel Washington is somebody that is a highly respected actor, and everybody looks up to him. Everybody wants, every actor or actress in the world wants to work with him. We don't know who he is outside of that fucking role he like to play. So in the movies, we always see him playing like a soldier or a cop or someone, heroic. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was a surprise for people to see him in like Training Day or American Gangster, those movies where he goes against what he usually plays in the movie. But we don't know who the hell he is outside of that. Even your rappers, like your Tupacs and even dead rapper, like your Tupac, your Jay-Z's, your Nas. We don't know who these dudes is outside of the music and the videos they create. So take your favorite rapper, your favorite MC, and imagine him doing something so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So out of the character that he was, you know what I'm saying, beyond the character that what he's doing on his music. Like for example, you have gangster rappers out here. You don't know if they're really gangsters. Who said they was gangsters? How do you know they have this street credibility? Like a rapper sitting here rapping about, oh, I sell drugs. I'm a heavy pusher. I was, what I'm saying, pushing heavy rock. What if that's all a lie? And that's your favorite rapper. Never sold drugs a day in his life, but sitting here weaving tales in his lyrics about him having to, sell drugs just to keep the lights on. It's like you never been through that. But nobody knows that. This is a story that some writers in a corporation wrote up for you to believe. You know what I'm saying? And then if I told you the news about your favorite rapper, you would probably be in disbelief. You probably would think I was lying. You know how people be in denial when you say something about some rapper, you know what I'm saying, or somebody, you know what I mean? You know how niggas is. You know how people get. They don't want to believe it. Like I did a whole video on my channel, like saying months ago, like last year, where I was talking about this YouTube channel called what's it called? The Hoax, the Industry Exposed, or something like that. And they have these videos where the main focus of their channel is exposing the um the truth behind certain rappers and certain actors and certain events in history, and how it was all a hoax, like it was a sham. So again, Tupac is usually like a recurring topic on the channel, and they show very compelling evidence that Tupac wasn't who you thought he was. Again, you never know for sure. Like you can go watch it and you never know. Because this is the point is this could be every celebrity that you're seeing on TV. This could be everybody that has a large following on Instagram or YouTube. You don't know who these people is. And you're just blindly taking their word for things, blindly following behind them. You don't know who they are. You don't know if that is a corporate setup. You know what I'm saying? Like you have rappers even claiming that, they got shot 9 times. What if that's not true? And that's just a story that someone wrote in a corporate office somewhere and they said, okay, we're going with this. So in your music, you're going to make raps about this story we created for you. And then y'all in the street, or y'all, just in general public, you still, banging this music in your Jeep or your car, you know what I'm saying, in your house, and you don't know that the story around this rapper is a complete fucking false setup. Talking about you from Marcy, New York, like you ain't, and then people like we never seen him before. And then they, the corporation goes out of its way to, tie up any loose ends. Like, for example, if you were to go to that rapper's supposed hood and they be like, well, we never seen him before. I don't know who that is. He just came out of nowhere. So then a corporation, they got the means where they can silence you for exposing them. This goes down in this show, The Boys. This is what I'm talking about. You don't know what's a corporate hoax or not. Like every president that has ever fucking stepped to the White House, like how do you know that that shit is real or not? That could be fake. Do you remember when I said that the same writers that write these movies and TV shows are the same writers employed to write the news? Do you remember a term I once used known as kayfabe? Like for example, when you found out that wrestling was fake, you thought it was real when you was a kid. Like you saw them jumping off the ropes, doing all types of sharpshooters, choke slam, tombstone, DDT. You thought that was real. You thought they was actually fighting. When in reality, they was following a well-written script for your own entertainment. So WWF, which was World Wrestling Federation, they had to take the F off and put E. So it became WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. They had to do that because people found out that the shit was fake. So imagine finding out that your presidency is fake, that you thought you voted for. You thought your vote counted to get this president in the White House or get this politician in office, when in fact that was all unnecessary. They were going to put him in office or her in office regardless. Your vote never mattered. I remember back in 2000, what was that, like 2007, 2008, when I had bought the Obama shirt. You know what I'm saying? I went to an amusement park and made white people mad because I had the Obama on my shirt. You know what I'm saying? What if that president is a corporate creation? So they're saying that he's from here, he did this, he did that. What if that's all part of the script? See, a lot of y'all ain't looking for the script of things. You don't know when things are a script. Like you watch news blindly, you listen to music blindly, you watch movies blindly. Like you don't know the script that was written for the camera. When is an actor not an actor? What if the actor is also he's acting in movies, TV shows, but he's also acting in public too? Like even with the Jonathan Majors thing. Why like this is is weird for me. After watching a show like The Boys and even movies like Wag the Dog, which is another important movie I will have you watch, where in order to get you to hate the character more in the movie, they make the actor go through some bullshit where you hate him. So, for example, the Jonathan Majors guy, like he plays Kang the Conqueror in the MCU, right? He's supposed to be the new big bad after Thanos, right? So now he's in the news. The actor himself is in the news for abusing his girlfriend and beating her up or doing something like that. So that now when you watch him in movies, you have an extra hate for him because of what he was accused of. He didn't even have to do that. It's the fact that he was accused of it. So just for you to get you to hate him in the movies, they get you to try to hate him outside of the movie as well, the actor. You know what I'm saying? There's probably countless examples of that. Think about all these celebrities that supposedly died from a drug overdose. Is that true? Now, it's nothing where I care to know that. I don't really give a I don't really care. It's nothing where I would just, go out and be like, try to, alert people to this or be on some woke shit talking about, oh, did you know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Be on some soapbox somewhere speaking of shit. No, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I don't do that. I'm just making a commentary on this. That it's crazy. Like, what isn't a corporate script? Is all this shit written? Like these shootouts, you know what I'm saying? That these random shootouts in schools and all that. Is that a part of the script too? What isn't a script? Because if it's all under a corporation and not your government anymore, because a lot of people will say, well, the government is corrupt. No, we dealing with a whole nother monster. Because you would think that, if you watch the show The Boys, you have Homelander, where, like I said, he's like this Frankenstein, like he was created in a lab, he never had any type of family, and he's really kind of upset about that. He's angry about that. Like he has a complex about that. You know what I'm saying? He'll do anything for approval, but at the same time, if you cross him or if you do something he don't like, he can shoot you down with his laser. Like, you know what I'm saying? He can kill you in a moment's notice. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who these people are. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You're just entertained by the show in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on. Like if they put like a homosexual rapper out, like you don't know, like that could be a corporate scam. Like the rapper doesn't even have to be gay. It could be just an actor playing that role. And then again, you got all the kids and young people that follow behind that. Because again, that's a part of the script. So what is and what is not a script out here? Like what is and what isn't? Because it's interesting to see people that claim to be woke and conscious, and then they sitting up here, you know, um, believing in the things that they see on TV. It's like, what level of woke are you? Like you believe what they putting on this camera? Because I'm at a point where whatever I see on TV or film or whatever, that's scripted. Your news too. Because the dangerous part of that, people believe it. So you have, like, for example, all these left wing activists, you have right wing activists like your conservatives, your liberals. What if they don't even believe in nothing they telling you? It's all actors. You ever heard of crisis acting? They even be putting out Craigslist ads for people to come in and audition for to be a crisis actor. All corporate sponsored, all corporate owned. So I like about this show, The Boys, is that it's not even really about the superheroes or these superhumans. It's about the corporation behind it. Because again, all the superheroes that you see, or they call them soups on the show, they're all created using a drug that's artificial. Like even some of the superheroes on the show can't even believe it because they were taught to believe. Even their parents was in on this. Like Starlight, the little white joint. Like she's the new hero to the team called the Seven. So it's seven heroes, and she's the new member because her mom, groomed her. So it's also about how your parents could be keeping things away from you too. Because her mom was telling her the whole time that, she was born with this superpower. But come to find out, no, her mom gave her up for the experimentation. So her mom was in on it. Her mom allowed the corporation to inject her daughter with the blue stuff, the blue compound V, to turn her daughter into a superhero actor. And that whole theme of parents living through their children, I've seen shows about it where you have a mom and she's trying to get her daughter into all the beauty pageants and all this all the dumb shit that comes with that, like trying to live through your daughter or your son or something like that. It happens all the time, you know what I'm saying, like pimping out your kids to make money. Because how far would you go if you're willing to go as far as trying to pimp them out to a TV show? What else would you pimp your children out to? You know what I'm saying? And the show also deals with a lot of conspiracies. Like, for example, I mentioned earlier that, the vault company that's in the show was started by a Nazi scientist. So you know how that whole thing of where, they was experimenting on the prisoners over there in those camps or whatever. This show kind of really leans into that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense because it was kind of, written and produced by Jewish people, but like, Seth Green and Adam Gold, you know what I'm saying? You can tell by the last name that they're Jewish. But they do lean into that whole thing of those scientists. Like, where did these scientists go? They did these cruel genetic experiments on people. They didn't all die. They went to different countries around the world, including the United States. So it makes you look at the whole World War II thing, all the world wars. Are they scripted too? But I'm not here to be a conspiracy theorist. This is just what's in the show. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm not here to sit here and, debate these things with you. Like, you believe it if you don't, if you want to or if you don't want to. But it's the point of, the show showing you, you know what I mean? It really becomes a show in a literal sense, like where it shows you that, these conspiracies have weight to them. There's even an episode where they even admit to the whole thing about, the Iran Contra thing, where the crack was uh, distributed strictly to the black communities back in like the 80s and 90s. They even touch on that in the show, you know what I mean? So again, it's anti-MCU, but it's also dealing with corporations. They make fun of Disney Plus. They make fun of Marvel Comics. They make fun of the whole thing. They show you the dark side of all that. You feel me? And how it affects people. Because the one thing when you're watching these movies in the MCU, like Iron Man, Spider-Man, and all these movies, they never show you, you know, what it's like for people in that world where you see all these different accidents and devastations happening. They kind of touch on it in the movie um Ultron, what was it? Hold on. Avengers Ultron and Captain America Civil War, where the Avengers got to deal with the collateral damage of the things they've been doing. So the debate is, should the Avengers be under corporate control or government control, or should they just be willy-nilly doing their own thing? So that's the beef between Iron Man and Captain America, is that Iron Man wants to be corporate or government controlled, and Captain America doesn't want to do that. He should have the freedom to do what he wants, right? And that's the Civil War. But again, you never take into account when the Hulk destroys a building, or when Thor throws a thunderbolt at a car or whatever. We don't know what happens to those people who get affected by that shit. Because in the show, you have several characters, again, their loved ones were killed by these superhumans. How do you get revenge? How do you get justice for that? You know what I'm saying? And then just dealing with all these superhero shows and superhero movies in general. Like, why now do they decide that they want to focus all their money and attention on superhero shit or comic books, movies and shows? Because this is the eon of revelation. We're dealing with, going into Aquarius. So maybe these people who are writing these shows and putting this stuff out and producing it, they are privy or they know something about this age. Things are supposed to be woken up. Things are going to be online, right? Things are coming online. You've heard that phrase before. So with them knowing that, now they're going to create propaganda to show the world how to deal with that type of incident should it ever occur. Like, for example, let's say I had superpowers. You know what I'm saying? How do you deal with somebody like me? You have a whole propaganda on Netflix, at the movie theater, Disney Plus, that shows you how to approach me, how to deal with me. Should I be killed? Should I be a good guy? How should I be if I have these abilities? You know what I'm saying? And it don't even have to be like on no, high superhero shit where I have superhuman strength or I can stretch my body, as long as a fucking football field or something like that. It could just be I just have certain abilities that give me the edge over someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like on some mutant shit. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing that pattern. It's like they're making these movies where they're kind of giving you the propaganda on how you should deal with people who have these abilities. And for those of us in the spiritual conscious community, occult realm, that's what we kind of deal with a lot, is like, trying to do things or deal with things beyond the normal mundane way of dealing with them, right? But yeah, you should watch this show, The Boys. Again, it's up there with Sopranos. Like, it really takes that torch, man. Like how it's well written like that. It's a crazy show, man. Crazy. It'll give you the insight into how a corporation don't give a fuck about nobody except the bottom line. They worried about making money, selling a product, putting out the propaganda, putting out the images, and that's it. All the casualties, all the deaths, all the devastations, the destruction, they can care less about that. It's all about that money. There's even a documentary I would have you watch called The Corporation, where they compare, like, if a corporation were an entity, a person, what kind of person would it be? And they show you how a corporation is just like a psychopath. Like, it don't care about nothing except itself, its own self-preservation, its money, the things it owns, and controlling other people. It's a psychopath. You know what I'm saying? That's how the corporation acts. Like, it can get rid of you at the drop of a dime. You're like a cog in a machine. As soon as you start acting up or doing something it don't like, it can pluck you out of that machine and then replace you with another person. It treats people like a fucking cogs in a machine. You know what I mean? And then how a lot of these corporations get away with the shit that they do. Like, they can sit here and spin stories, you know what I'm saying, to get people back on their side. You'll see a lot of that in this show, The Boys, where, they have what's called a spin doctor, where the spin doctor is the person they hire to come in and create like a false narrative. And then that's the narrative that the whole corporation goes with whenever they're on the news. You know what I'm saying? Just like the movie Wag the Dog, where they sat here and created a fake war. There was never a war in the first place. They created it just using media. You know what I'm saying? So they can get you to hate a whole group of people. It reminds me of when the whole Iraqi war got set off with the September 11 attacks or whatever. You know what I mean? What if that was all a script and you believed it? So now in that time, when, we fighting these Iraqis or these Afghanistan people, and then when you're seeing them outside of your door, or you see them at the gas station, you see them at a restaurant, you see them in the street. And then it's like, because of you fed into that media shit, now you hate people that you don't even know why you hate them, because you believed in the hype. People have turned media hype into a religion now. So whatever the camera is telling, whatever the news channel is telling you, you believe every single thing it's saying. Wow. But watch the show, The Boys, man. I just had it. I ain't really spoiled too much of it in here because I really want you to watch it and come back to this video and we could talk about it. I might even make a separate video about it because that's how excited I am about the show. Go watch The Boys on Amazon Prime. Why are you still watching me? Go watch The Boys. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's Alice Will 64, Al Achad. Go get the book. Holography. It's right here, scrolling across the screen here. You know what I'm saying? My Patreon, my Cash App, if you want to donate, patreon.com/holography, where I got the stuff in the back. There's the stuff on when you go in the store, it's on the racks, but then it's the stuff in the back. So that Patreon page is for stuff in the back. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get the stuff in the back, you know what I mean? And then my patrons here, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate it or whatnot. But again, go watch that show, The Boys. Make you look twice at corporations and how they do. Like, that's a lot of power these motherfuckers is wielding. Like, the ability to sit here and create the news and write it the way you want and spin any type of story you want and get people to believe whatever you want them to believe. It's less about superheroes and more about corporate control.